Baby girl's more alive than most folks around here. And they say water makes the skin stay smooth, and baby girl's got water running from her toenails on up to her nose. And there's not a single wrinkle on that young body. My neighbor Phil Sachs, on the other hand, he's got enough skin to wrap around himself twice. I guess he hasn't taken much of a liking to water. He just sits all day on his porch with a Baltimore sun spray out in his face, a bunch of ripped articles at his feet, and a shotgun in his lap. The man hasn't been laid since he was 38. That's 10 years of not getting laid. So this girl about 17 comes knocking on his door. Her mom tells her Sachs knows exactly who her pop is, so Sachs tells her she's out of luck, sure ain't him. Invites her in for steak and a bunch of bourbon. Sachs starts noticing how her voice gets a bit scratchy, a couple of drinks in her, and those deep green eyes are just like his. It didn't matter much though. Laughed real hard the next day, saying the years lined up about right. It's at that moment I realized when I had a girl of my own, she wasn't coming within a foot near Sachs. I mean, a man's gotta be sick to touch his girl like that. I'll put a knife right through anyone who tries to touch my baby girl. No, she'll be just fine. I grew up smart with me reading to her. Most days I read straight from the sun, but I'll pick up some books now and again. Baby girl loves flowers, just like her pop. I read her The Secret Garden. She slept like an angel all week. Now, I'll turn on some TV if she's a good girl. We'll watch Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy, because those ones are good for the brain. I'm not letting her watch any junk. You know, those shows about pops that leave their kids without a cent. Baby girl doesn't miss her mama one bit. You know, and I don't miss Layla either. The way she used to spit in my face and cover her eyes when I was fucking her. Hell, she never even wanted a baby girl or a baby at all. I told her she could spend my money on clothes or booze, just none of those goddamn pills. I found her stash one day last year and flushed it down. See, Layla didn't seem to mind having a baby when I proposed to her 3 years ago. Said she could quit her job if she made me a family. Layla just quit wanting anything at all, including a baby. Said she'd just get more fat and depressed than she already was. Baby girl doesn't need to know that her mama tried to kill her. Just drank bleach straight from a bottle in the boat about 10 months ago. I'd been working this landscaping job out in Mount Washington, came home, found Layla dead in the bathtub, all filled up. The water was cold. I still don't know how long she'd been there. So I grabbed my toolkit and I saved baby girl. I've been reading the baby books. I knew exactly where to find her, and she was light as anything and red as a rose. I put my lips to hers and breathed in and out. She was just covered in Layla's insides, but those lips were the smallest and softest that I'd ever felt. And I heaved in and out like it was me that was drowning. And I swear to God, she opened her eyes and looked straight into mine before she closed them for good. Now that kind of beauty you can't go on burying in the ground like a dead dog. It's the kind of beauty you put on your wall and you stare at. It's a marigold that blooms under frost. Keeps on thriving despite all the death that comes with fall. Now, since Layla was gone anyway, I put some tools in her hands and threw the rest in the tub. I mean, those police never even bothered to go through Layla to check on baby girl. Just saw a bloody mess, her fingerprints all over the bleach, and assumed that she'd done it. And I buried Layla dead in the ground with so much dirt she'd never come back up. I believe in science, freezing and all that. I believe that baby girl's in that little body hearing me. I'll go to the store and buy all sorts of chemicals like formalin and preservatives meant for keeping things fresh. You get used to the smell. I fill up my home with lilacs and lavender, just all sorts of flowers that baby girl likes. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't have people coming around making judgments. Folks sort of left me alone once Layla died. But that's the great thing about baby girl. She stays nice and still. Always right where I leave her. And I don't have to worry about her running off with boys or anything like that. Alright, now I'm no fool. I mean, I know there are some folks who might say I'm as sick a man as Sacks by the way I treat my baby girl, but all I'm doing is loving her the way anyone would love their baby girl. I mean, people love all sorts of things. Things that make you sick, or things that make you broke or mean. All I think is that a person ought to be able to keep what's theirs. Isn't that right, baby girl? This here tank's where she sleeps. And some nice warm water like a nice warm bath.
Go to sleep, you little baby.